Handling critics. Hello, students. Today we are going to know about a very interesting topic, how to handle critics. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone's willing to tell you what you're doing wrong. Everyone's ready to tell you how to lead your life. To be completely honest, most of us don't want to hear it. Whether it's coming from Dad or the boss, we're pretty much content to just zone out and hope that we can say whatever you say at the right point. Even when someone's offering up constructive criticism, it can be hard to take. Taking criticism is a skill, and being able to learn from harsh criticism requires a pretty extreme level of proficiency. There are a few ways to build up your tolerance for criticism, though, and to move closer to that level, even if you can't convince your critics to make the switch to a more constructive approach. It's easier to complain about the outside critics, but the biggest critic in your life usually lives between your own two ears. Working up the courage to move past your own vulnerability and uncertainty is often the greatest challenge you'll face on the way to achieving your goals. When I started writing, it wasn't the hurtful comments from readers that prevented me from getting started. It was my own fears about what they would think if I wrote about the things I cared about. I wrote my ideas in a private document for a year before I worked up the courage to start sharing them publicly. Listening to someone go on and on about what you aren't getting right is extremely difficult. After even just a few minutes, it can take the patience of a saint to refrain from telling a critic exactly where they can put their comments. But if you can ask a critic to write down his or her comments, it's worth the effort. You'll have a little more distance when you go over the criticism in question. Harsh criticism isn't exactly a great way to motivate change, but in some cases the criticism does come about from a valid issue. If you find yourself on the receiving end of some unfriendly opinions, it is worth finding out if such a concern is actually valid. Ask someone external to the situation for an opinion. Run some numbers. Whatever it takes to make a decision one way or the other. If you come to the conclusion that it isn't valid, ignore the remarks and go do something happy. If it is valid, you may need to consider addressing it.